Kelvin Davis.
Yeah. Mr Chair, as someone who hasn't had a lot to do with the development of this bill, I've got a few questions I'd like clarified. And the first one is the PCBU. I just wonder if that's what we used to call in the old days, the BOSS. Is it? And if it is, the PCBU, if I can relate to my previous work in the Ministry of Education when I was working in an office in Kaitaia, we had a flat we had a flat structure there, so we didn't actually have any PCBUs or BOSs in the office there. The other members that worked there, their boss was actually based in Whangarei, so I assumed that their PCBU would be someone based in Whangarei. I was actually managed out of Wellington, but so I would assume that's where my PCBU is, but I just wonder how, in a situation like that, the PCBU actually gets to manage the health and safety of employees who are at a distance. Then, when I'd come down to Wellington and my direct report PCBU was actually, I was the bottom rung of the ladder, that my PCBU was the next rung, and there were about 5 more rungs on the ladder, and I just want to know if all of those people are PCBUs, and if they are, who are they PCBUs of? How does the structure actually work in an organisation like a ministry? So between me, the bottom rung of the ladder, and Peter Hughes, the top rung of the ladder, are they all PCBUs, and what's the responsibility of each person? Also just want to and I'm sorry, I have to harp back to part 1 here. The purpose, 31A says, the purpose is to protecting workers and other persons against harm to their health, safety and welfare by eliminating or minimising risks arising from work or from prescribed high-risk plant. Nowhere else in the bill have I seen welfare mentioned. So if we go to clause 30, the primary duty of care, a PCBU must ensure, so far as is reasonably practicable, the health and safety of workers. 32 says a PCBU must ensure, so far as is reasonably practical, that the health and safety of other persons. And it goes on like that. It talks about the health and the safety, but nowhere else does it mention the welfare. Now, in my mind, the health is about the lack of illness. Safety is about the physical safety, making sure no one is injured. Welfare, to me, talks of people's mental state in their place of work. And if it's not mentioned anywhere else, I'd like to know why someone's welfare or their mental welfare is not considered in the rest of the bill. And we can use an example such as the forestry worker who's working a chainsaw. Now, we can understand about his safety there, using dangerous instruments, but his welfare. Now, I've heard stories of the pressure being put on the people who are wielding chainsaws in forestries to actually up their cut rate so that they're sawing down more trees. And that pressure is coming from the contractor. The contractor, I assume, is their PCBU. And the contractor's pressure is coming on people higher up, such as the forest owners who want a greater return. So the forest owner actually is putting pressure on the contractor is putting pressure on the worker, but the forest owner is divorced or removed from any responsibility for the well-being of the guy on the chainsaw, and yet that person is the one who's most at risk. So how does that work, and how is responsibility put where it should be to the people who are putting pressure on getting a dividend? I would like that answered, Mr. Speaker. Also, and to use quite a topical example, the guard in a Serco-run prison who is one person looking after 50 inmates. What about his emotional welfare? Obviously, when you one person overlooking a number of people who are gang associates, and they want you to do something that you know is illegal, and they put pressure to intimidate for you to do things. So, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Call Denise Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll rise to